You're on, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back to episode what, Brian? What is this like?
This is going to be episode 16, I think.
Whoa,
Can you
man.
believe it? 16 episodes already.
Every Monday.
Yeah, every Monday.
We are ambitious people, aren't we? We think that we can. Thanks to you, we can pull it off because I just sit here in San Diego and just talking to a microphone, and you're doing all the editing and all the beds of music and keeping me on point. And
do my best.
I appreciate that. And don't play the one that I sent you, the single one. Don't.
Okay.
Did you listen to it? It's a rant.
Yeah. No.
Don't bother. Just erase it. I'm gonna start over. I have another rant to go on.
Okay.
This is exciting because our first guest on camera is I'm so proud to say my dear best friend, who is responsible for a shitload of cool things that have happened in my life. Thanks to her getting me involved with USITT. Thanks for her for being a colleague and a friend the entire way, getting me through some shitty times because she has been with me for a long time. And thanks to teaching me where to park trucks in downtown San Diego. When you do your first national tour and you don't even know what the fucking I'm sorry, she doesn't like me to cuss, does she? Where to park trucks in San Diego, and that's a true story. When Jesus Christ Superstar was coming through, and I didn't know, and it was my first week at the San Diego Symphony at Symphony Hall, and Rory Gatesman, the box office manager, said, you don't know Carolyn Satter? I go, no, I don't. And he goes, you need to go meet her. And I was like, oh my God. He goes, just call her and tell her what you need. And I go, really, that easy? And he assured me that was going to be that easy. And I called, I said, hello, Carolyn, you do not know who I am. But I'm the new production manager at Symphony Hall, and I am doing Jesus Christ Superstar, the first time I've ever advanced, and I don't know where to park 7 trucks. And Rory said, call Carolyn. And I think that was that relationship thing where and she said, give me 5 minutes. Literally, give me 5 minutes. And I think in 4 minutes, she called me back and said, they're going away to the stadium. And they were done. It was done. And I was like, oh my God, I need this person in my life. And we have been friends ever since. And have been through a lot of stuff together, haven't we, Carolyn? The goods and the bads and the highs and the lows. And this is a high because I'm excited to have you in our zone, in our sphere. And Brian, you're meeting Carolyn on the camera, but you guys have met just today you met, right?
Yeah. I've heard your name before, and I think I've met your daughter before. I worked at the Balboa Theater a couple times. And I think it was like right when you stopped working there and she started working there. It was like the transition period. And it was, I actually worked there whenever La Jolla Music Society was still doing shows there before they got the Conrad up and running.
Yep.
I did a few things there, but I think you had already stopped working there.
I retired in August of 19.
Yeah.
What was it, 19? And after how many years, Carolyn?
41
years. Man, dude. And look at her, she's still going.
And somebody told me they'd never hire you. You're a woman. I'll never.
Well, that's interesting because Brian and I were talking about this episode, and I thought, how hard we're going to ask, like, how hard was that? What was that scene like, especially with the union, the boys club, and the I-8, and kind of tell us a little bit about that challenge.
I never thought it was hard. I was never ousted, but it was. I came in green. I came in Wicked Witch green, very much so. I'll tell you
what
that.
Did you know about? They had a reputation? Did you know anything about who they were?
I never worked with the IA before. I had done some casual stuff around town, but it was usually with non-union personnel. So I had done some stage managing and that, but no, I had not experienced the union.
And no rumors about how to deal with them or there was going to be like, you're not going to be accepted.
But I did not. I mean, first of all, the word union right now has my deepest respect. Because they are professionally trained. They come into a job with most of them the right attitude. And if it isn't, I have learned who to contact, and the attitude is generally changed. So that is lovely. But we're all there for the same reason. And I never thought that, I'd never considered being afraid of them or that. They
Or
were
that you were lower, or that you could.
forward. I was a little nervous on my first. I think one of my first gigs was a Mexican dance that loaded in at 4 o'clock, and by 6:30 we were set. And then you sat around until 2 in the morning when the music stopped, and you loaded them out. And I
Oh,
was
you did more than that. You know, you do so much more than that. You're so humble about that.
the first one. That's the way I did. And
Right,
I was
right.
with three of probably the crustiest older stagehands.
Who were they? Was it
Yeah.
Ole Kittleson?
Ole,
Oh my goodness. Oh,
Ole, Larry Kane, and there was one other. And oh shit. I mean, and they really Ole years later was known to have said, "I'll work with her anytime. She tells me what she wants, and then she leaves me alone."
That's Ole, right? Yeah.
I was Ole then.
Yeah. My first day of work at the San Diego Symphony, I was introduced to him, and I will not repeat
Right.
how that
Yeah.
went.
Yeah. He could be a real hard nose. Yep.
Well, it's like, go just peeing in the corner to make sure that you know where the spot is. If you're another dog, do not cross that boundary.
But on the other hand, I had a job. I mean, it took me a couple of years to realize I had the job to do, and I was telling them what I needed done, not how to do it, but what needed to be done. And I respect their space, and hopefully they respect
That's the word. That's the word. And respect is earned, right? It's not just a given.
Oh no, right? Yeah, no. It isn't handed to you. You do have to earn it.
Yeah. And doing that the first couple of years, and Brian, chime in anytime, because you didn't know anything, right? Or didn't you have a costuming background a little bit, right?
I have a costume background, a little bit of stage management. My degree is in tech theater, bachelor's degree in tech theater. I was an older student, so I did not opt to go on for a master's. I was employed part-time in 1979, and I graduated from state after doing 2.5 years, dropping out for a while, and then going back and finishing it. And I graduated in May of 80. So I had a year there that I was working part-time, 6 months of it, and then about the last 2 months I was hired full-time. So,
and Paige was how old? Like, who was you had kids too. I mean,
I had kids. I had 3 at home. Right.
Wow.
Yeah, single parent with 3 at home.
How did you find yourself applying for that position? Did someone tell you to do that, or did you just randomly stumble across it, or like what caused you to?
No, when I was out at state, the ticketing manager's husband was office manager at what used to be the San Diego Convention and Performing Arts Center, of which Golden Hall was where the booking office was. And they were looking, her husband, office manager, is looking for a part-time person. And I said, I'll take it. And so 20 hours a week. And 6 months later, her husband said, I don't need her anymore. And the production manager, Pat Callahan, old crusty stagehand, Pat Callahan said, I'll take her, because I had production background. I had technical background. Mm-hmm. And so I can't remember whether I made, at that change, whether I made full-time or very shortly afterwards, I made full-time. And so I moved over, and he had an assistant that had an addiction to cocaine at the time. And the assistant had said to me on the aside one day, they'll never hire you. You're a woman. And I said, I need to put milk on the table for kids. Not a problem. I'll hang in there.
And did Pat Callahan watch you work somewhere? Did he know of you?
No,
Your
no,
repertoire?
he just knew his assistant was having issues, and here was somebody, and he had worked with me for 6 months
Oh,
because I had been in the arena at the Convention and Performing Arts. So he had
gotcha.
seen me in that, and so he said, "I'll take her."
Somebody is always watching.
So he took me.
Very true.
He took me in from like 1980 to about 91. 91, he had a stroke and was kept on the payroll until 92. And at 91, I was running the Civic Theater, and at that time the Balboa was not existent. So it was everything at the Civic and then Golden Hall.
Golden Hall was busy though back then, right? In the 90s and stuff, wasn't it?
Yep.
I remember Bill Silva doing a shitload of shows. I mean, a
He
lot
was
of.
doing that. We were doing Election Central, State of the City address. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. What did it look like running like a center like that? Was it mostly Roadhouse style, or was it rentals, or like what is that?
Well, there's two different. So, Civic Theater is a 2,992 seat proscenium theater. Golden Hall is 225,000 square feet open space. Can do anything with a stage in it. Yeah. And so whether it's set up with bleacher seating or whether it's set up in rounds, a gala and a dinner with a stage show or whatever, everything from speakers in there to, you name it, anyone who wanted to rent it, comedians, singers, groups coming in, Mexican dances.
And did you have the same IA contract agreement with all the spaces, or were they different in any way?
Golden Hall, because it has different clientele, Golden Hall had one contract and Civic Theater had the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then eventually it became all one contract.
Yeah, where I'm working now, we run into that a lot, where there's different contract rules for two different spaces, and you have to juggle. And then sometimes external vendors have their own contract, like the ballet here has their own contract with IA, and then they operate under different rules with them. So I was just curious if that was something you experienced. And
for those, needless to say, I was not that much involved, unlike Broadway San Diego coming in with the roadshow when they did their own contract with the IA. Yeah. I just made sure the rules were followed.
Yeah. And so were you the only production manager for all three of those spaces, or did you have a team?
At that time I had one assistant.
One assistant.
Right. So just depending on what was happening. I mean, normally no more than 2 events were going at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but it was hot and heavy. There's no denying that 16 hours is not a normal day for most of us production people in a what I call 4-wall rental house.
Yeah.
You're not doing your own presentations. You're not into rehearsals and that, unless the show needs the rehearsal. Mm-hmm. You provide this space. You provide, as Jay has heard me many times, you provide this service that goes with the space.
That's right.
And
that was what you put in the textbook, that the opening chapter, the opening lines of, I think it was a quote actually. It says, "All we have to sell is service."
Right.
And I was quite intrigued with that, and asked you to elaborate on it. And throughout the chapter, you say that, and you keep going back to that. That's service. That's what you call service.
I mean, as production manager, you need to be an organized person. You need to be able to think A, B, C, D, and being able to put that in order and know that when it's out of order, how does it go back into order to make it smooth? It is your determination to make that day go smooth, and to hopefully be as economical as possible for the person paying the bill. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing.
I hope you get that thing back on the track if it jumps off.
Right? Yeah, and if it does jump off, hopefully you've had enough experience to learn how to put it back on track.
Yeah, well, that's always the thing, isn't it?
That's what it takes.
Right.
I mean, that I'm sure that first few years,
Learned a lot of lessons.
Yeah, I learned a lot of lessons.
Yeah. Well, talking about service, I think that's why stage managers make often transition very well to production management. It's because in my view, I really identify as a stage manager because that's just like, where my heart really is. But I really view myself as a stage manager as someone who's in service to the production, because everything we do as stage managers is really to make that production successful. The rehearsals, the blocking, the emails, like it's all in service to making sure that there is a success. And like you're saying with production management, it is very similar where, we are in servitude to making sure that comes in on time, in budget, and is successful, because it has to, and as stage managers, just they have the skill set it takes to make that happen. So
my heart goes to stage managing. I loved, and I would, once the Balboa came online, and that was, I think, in 05, I basically took most of the events at the Balboa that year. One, I loved this space. Two, I came in, if the client did not have a stage manager, I was stage managing. Whether or not San Diego theaters appreciated the fact, I don't even think they knew that I was double dipping. Who knows? And I wasn't double dipping, because to me, that was just the job that needed to get done.
Yeah.
Like doing their estimates for them.
Yeah.
Well, estimates is part of a production manager's job. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah. My world lives in estimates.
I know, you would bang them out like really quickly. I was like,
yeah,
you just had the rules memorized. You were
and
like 20 trucks in 14 days, and shoop.
Yeah, you tell me what your days are like, and I can put a number to it.
Yeah.
But that's
you taught me that, Carolyn. You taught me how to go backwards. With the performance call and stuff. So I don't know if I've ever told you that part, but you really did when I was at Symphony Hall. You taught me how to do that stuff.
Well, you have to start with the show. When the curtain is, and of course,
those are all the given.
Yeah, and how long the show is going to be, and the load up. But that is your given for the day. And then you start backing it up, and you back it up with the knowledge of when do you have to break? When is coffee time? When is lunch time?
And the ramifications if you don't take a break.
Well, and if there's no time for lunch, then you go to the promoter and you say, here's your option. You can feed them, you can pay them the overtime until you can break them, or you break them. Yep. A, B, and C, choose one.
Yep.
Yep.
None. All the above. Feed me.
Nope.
Oh my gosh. Well, what a career you've had. I mean, and then, after 40 years, I mean, become the president. 41. I'm not going to cheat you.
Don't cut my last year off.
And then you become the president of USITT, just because you had nothing better to do. But let's turn that clock back and talk about USITT. I've been trying to, get Brian to go, and he might one of these times. But the importance of USITT to you when you first started, how did you get into that? And kind of that trajectory to the president,
I'm not too sure. The first year I went was 95 in Las Vegas. And I'm not too sure. At that time, I think I was involved in IAAM and their performing arts management group and USITT. And at one point, I think the guy I started working for actually became head of the Convention and Performing Arts Center. And he said, we cannot support both of these organizations for you going. You need to choose one. IAAM was a reach up. That's what I saw. It took who I was and could hone my skills as a stage manager, production manager. USITT was either a reach over to my person next to me or a reach down to help somebody else up. And I opted to USITT. And so,
what did you do? You went as a conference attendee, and then, or did you go right?
First year as a conference attendee, and probably seeing the commissions, which is USITT is divided into about 11 commissions now. And then the next year, which was 96, I was part of the management commission because that's where I fit.
And did you ask, or did they ask you?
I think you just go. They say, here are
You
the
just go.
You go to that. Yeah. By 97, I think, or circa 98, somewhere in through there, I became programming, vice commissioner of programming for for the management commission.
And what does that entail? What does that entail for
that basically is putting together for 3.5 days of conference, the programming that the management commission offers to the attendees of USITT.
Panels and such.
Panels, speakers, whatever. So I did that for, I think it was 3-year term as commissioner, 4-year, 5-year, whatever. At the end of that, I was asked to be vice president of commissions, which means I now sat on the board and I oversaw all of the 9-10 commissions at that time. And
for the whole event.
For all USITT, right. Mm-hmm. And that was 6 years. That was 3 years and then completed another 3 years.
And then I got involved in Minneapolis because that was when I was at school, I think it was. Right. Or what was Minneapolis. And you said go and go and be a part of this. And it was I was able to get the school to pay for it because we were doing the Theater of the World Festival, and Minneapolis Children's Theater was, and then all of a sudden I was on a panel about producing children's theater, and I'm like, whoa, what is this all about? It's been quite the ride. It's been,
it has been.
yeah. I mean, gosh, and now you're a fellow. You've been inducted as a fellow. I was
inducted about 3 years ago.
Which, by the way, for DEI purposes, why do they call y'all fellows?
I don't know.
That's a good point.
It's just
it's old school. Yes, it's a term until anyway.
I don't take it sexist.
I know you don't. I do. Wait till I become one. But my life would not be. I mean, there's no textbook if there's no USITT. There's no Carrie Gillette. There's no going to Miami. Like you all of these things. When you look at it, you don't realize. No going to Carnegie Mellon. I mean, the list just goes on and on. There's no Michelle Kay talking to me tonight about performing arts programs not having rock and roll in them.
Is that Cincinnati?
Cincinnati, yeah.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Yeah. So yeah, and then and now you are no longer the president after you became the president for a while.
I am past president. I'm finishing a 5-year commitment to USITT. 1 year is incoming, 3 is sitting president, and 1 is out as past president, which is where I'm at now. So I will have some responsibilities in Columbus, Ohio this year at conference, and then that is probably it. Except last November, I decided to launch a program for non-students with USITT called the Production Managers Mentoring Program. Right, program. I have to always think what the P is. And it is open to people to submit who are out of school and either a production manager now, looking to be a production manager, looking for a job, going that way. But it is for production managers, which there will be 1 chosen probably in February of this year, in our inaugural year. They will be matched with a mentor who has their discipline, their choice of discipline, and then they will be in charge of all main stage events at USITT this year, which is the first time this has happened also. Eventually, this will grow, that it will become more than 1 production manager a year.
It should. It will. It will.
I think it will.
Yeah, and you weren't thinking about. I mean, you and I were talking, and you were gonna fund something. And I'm right, if I recall the conversation.
I was going to fund something for production managers, but based it on the stage managing mentoring program that USITT has, that's been in place for probably 30 plus years now. And you are the one who said, why are you modeling after stage managing when this is most definitely a production manager, and it's what you do.
That's right. And it should be called the Carolyn Satter production. Name it after the legacy. Damn it, you're a legacy.
Became the Satter PMMP program.
That's right.
And it will continue. So I guess I
live in infamy. I was going to apply for it. I need the money.
So
I can't wait, and I am looking forward to seeing who you all choose.
I'm looking forward to seeing who is signing up for the choice of being this.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Yeah. Carolyn Satter, question for you.
Yes,
Brian. This is that time of the show when we say, "What's on your rider?" Carolyn Satter, if you are a rock star, which you are, what 3 things would you have in your dressing room that you would eat or drink? Or
anything.
Yeah,
dark chocolate. Anything dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
That's the first thing, dark chocolate.
Do you have a specific brand?
Yeah,
that you prefer?
Little nuggets of chocolate, or like Hershey bars, or what?
There is somebody, and
you're a rock star, so you can have anything in the world.
Red box, and it's kind of triangular, and they are these dark chocolate drops that are incredible. Probably Coke Zero, because that's another thing. Coke Zero. I'm a Coke Zero lady. And probably something for dinner.
Oh, you get dinner no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, dinner, depending on probably something that is
healthy.
Indicative
like rotisserie chicken by any chance?
Something that's indicative of the area that I'm in.
Oh,
so a celebration of the city that I'm in.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. I said rotisserie chicken with a grin because Carolyn has a rotisserie chicken story.
John Legend and rotisserie chicken.
John Legend won't start the show until he gets his rotisserie chicken, the wife said. Wasn't it the wife that was bitching about it?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Christy was there.
He will not start the show.
And, but he did.
Well, but the runner couldn't. It was Mike, right? Mike couldn't find chicken anywhere, right?
Oh, it was a Sunday. It was a Sunday at 6 o'clock. I mean, any of those stores that have rotisserie chicken are sold out by Sunday.
Oh, man. Yeah. And there's nothing better than watching a runner who has anxiety, who's trying to do a good job, freaking out because he's gone to 9 places, he can't find the chicken.
Yeah. Is this before Costco?
I don't know if they went to, I don't even know if the runner was, but I know we got it, put it downstairs, and it was baked chicken that we got because the caterer provided it.
That's right. And didn't you take it on the bus?
Christy said to me, that's baked chicken. That's not rotisserie. Of which I went, oh.
Oh, well, that's the wife. That's the wife.
Yeah. So I said a few choice words at that point to myself and said to the runner, go.
And if I remember correctly, the end of the story was that it went on the bus, and then the dog came out licking his chops because the fucking chicken was for the dog or something. Like, did I get that right?
Well, the chicken came in at 7. The concert was supposed to be at 7. Chicken came in at 7:18, and I think he took the stage at 7:15. So he did take it before the damn chicken got in there.
And the dog ate it in the end.
And it doesn't matter. Again, at that point, whoever ate the chicken's a non-issue. The fact is, this was on a rider. I did not catch, nor did the kidder, did not catch, did not pay attention to. So this sits in my lap.
Yeah.
Right.
How's the both of you? Like it's just that the both of you miss. It's poor things, you guys.
It
happens. And then you own your mistake, right? And then
you own it. Okay, I did it. I tried to recover. I did recover, and let's move on.
Let's move on.
And beat yourself up.
Well, that's a good point. But we do anyway, though, don't we?
Yeah. Well, some of us do, and some of us have learned not to.
Some of us are still trying to learn.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But when you start beating yourself up on these things, do you remember how many times you really were excellent? And you pulled the rabbit out of the hat? And the crew really likes working with you? And the show likes working with you?
We don't really stay in that space very often, do we?
Well, we're our own worst critics, Like,
yeah, you are.
It's like
but
so hard on ourselves, and it's so easy to talk so terrible to ourselves. But the way that we talk to ourselves in our head, we would never say those kinds of things to other people.
no,
So yeah, it's so easy to do that.
But sometimes things like this take a little bit of aging.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And you're lucky if you get there and recognize it still, and that's why Carolyn and I in our classes was, we're like, hey, y'all, guess what we did, and you shouldn't do this.
Right. Yeah, own it.
Yeah. And then the hypocrite in me anyway, the whole put your own mask on first before helping others, and then I can't even find my mask.
No good.
No good. What is next in the world of? Did we get the three things? What was the third one?
Dinner.
Oh, dinner. What is the dinner?
That's where the chicken took off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. What is for dinner?
I have no idea.
Fish with no oil.
Oh. I had a lovely lunch at the symphony after listening to a fabulous symphony today.
Yay.
An inaugural, instead of doing a 7 o'clock tonight, they did an 11 o'clock this morning.
Oh, how fun.
And it was well received.
And that's a renovated symphony hall. I mean, not even renovated. That's the wrong word for it. It's
gorgeous.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Brian, what else you got coming up in your world, sir, in the corporate environment of Orlando, Florida?
Oh, just rentals, the one-shot wonders, as Carrie calls them. And yeah, just like I got some rock and roll stuff coming on. It's like this cover band that's coming in. They're doing Rumors album by Fleetwood Mac. They're doing Led Zeppelin 2.
The same band?
Yeah, but in a few months, and they're doing an Eagles album as well. Later on this year.
Cover band, gotcha.
The cover band, yeah. They're pretty good though. Yeah, doing ballet stuff.
Whatever sells tickets, man.
Yeah. I'm all over the map. Ballet, opera, jazz, music.
You used to do the big circus thing too, and you're a Cirque du Soleil kind of background too, right? That's where your shop.
Just closed out that circus New Year's Eve actually. Yeah. That was a great close to the year. They were tremendous people to work with, and it was a really good experience. Despite the hurdles that we had to go over, but it was good.
The speed bumps.
Yeah, they were a little bit bigger than speed bumps. Just trying to get the people I work with to understand how to produce a show. It's
trying to get them to get us recycling easy. Program in. I know. I mean, poor Brian. He's like the new guy on the block. He's like, hey, can we like put some blue bins for like recycling paper? And they're like, wah.
They're like, it's too expensive. That's what they said. They said it's cheaper to throw it away than to recycle it. That was literally their answer.
Unbelievable.
So, I know.
Brian is I call him the savant of software, Carolyn. He is one of those guys that loves software and lets you know how much he loves the software, which is I always appreciate. There's the one called I don't even remember. Notion. Thank you very much. Notion. And it's all like, you gotta get the guy. He tells me, hey, put it in the Notion, do this. And I got to a point where I was like, I'm just gonna email you the attachment, and can you put it in there for me? But no, it's been great. It's been there's some really cool stuff out there right now that's going on, and he and I are collaborating as trying to help with in the online content world of teaching via online stuff, either pre-recorded or live with in the stage management area of for community theaters. There's I just gave away the big secret. Now everybody's gonna go do it.
It's okay. You did that in a previous episode too.
I know. Let them because what I do because this is it needs to happen, right? There's nobody training the community theater stage managers, and I don't know why the hell I think it's my job to fix the industry.
Where are they coming from?
It's what?
Where are the community theater stage managers coming from?
Well, it's a wealth of places. Some are in their 20s, some are in their teens that are just starting out. Some are the carpenters' wives, friends. There's no rhyme or reason. There's 7,000 community theaters in the United States. And the roundtable that I participated in, they say, well, we get somebody that'll come twice, but it's like we don't pay really almost anything, so they leave, and it's like, well, okay, that's figures, yeah. And they're not coming in trained. It's like, well, yeah. And that's when our little entrepreneurial brains went,
Ding.
there's a hole here,
Well,
and if we do it right.
if
We're going to the conference. We're going to the American Association of Community Theaters conference in June, the end of June, and they have a big expo. And 200 community theaters are supposed to be attending. And I'm going to have a booth in the expo, and we're going to be selling the program with a video monitor over our shoulders and lots of students going, "Oh, it's the best class ever," and see what happens. But we came up with maybe a business plan. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I think you need to share why it is important to have a trained stage manager on theater production.
Yes, ma'am. Well, and that's part of our pitch when we get to the part about why. I mean,
right,
is because your whole play was gonna, you're expecting the most important role, but there's no training. You know what I mean? Like it's like asking the pilot to fly the plane and he's never flown the plane before.
Yeah. Speaking of that, so I'm doing this educational show. I'm the production manager for it, and our organization has a nonprofit school attached to it. It's in the same building, offices, studios, everything. It's essentially under the same umbrella. And they produce about, I don't know, 8 to 10 shows with a spectrum of different things. And the one I'm on is a Little Mermaid Junior show. And one of our techs is a stage manager, and they want him to stage manage, but they want to cut him out of the rehearsal process because it costs too much money, because they would be paying him more money than they offered to the director. So they want to have him at the first rehearsal and the last rehearsal, and then go straight into tech. And I said, that's a terrible idea. Why would you cut the stage manager out of the rehearsal process? That's their job, to make sure that the production is on track and everything is working towards that same direction. And they essentially were like, we don't have the budget for it. And,
what were they thinking though when they made the budget?
They weren't thinking.
Hang on, guys. Let me share something with you, Brian. You need to liken this to something they understand. So let's take a master carpenter that you are building a house. Why don't you just make the association of when the master carpenter comes in? Does he only come in and talk to the architect and see the plans? And then he comes in for the final walkthrough?
No.
And why wouldn't he? Why doesn't he need to be part of that process? That's what I'm saying. That is, or any similar comparison in the real world, in our normal world for normal people, non-theatrical world. This is what it relates to.
Yeah, I think their argument is that one of the educational managers is essentially going to be the ASM on deck. So and she's there for every rehearsal, and then we'll also be there for tech and performances. So I think that they're figuring she's on salary, so she doesn't work into their actual cost of the budget for that. So I think they're justifying it by saying, oh well, we're gonna have someone there, someone will be there the whole process. It's just not the production stage manager essentially. But at that point, he's essentially a show caller. If he's just coming in,
he's just calling cues.
Exactly.
As long as she is the one who preps everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And have the cue sheet there. Then I'd say fine. I mean, I can see why. But again, it took going through the story to finally say, but we got an ASM on deck.
Yeah.
Which is called a deck manager, isn't it? In corporate now? Is
I
that what
would
they call a deck manager?
I think
Nancy Spooner.
I think in corporate they the ASN they call the deck manager, which is it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But again, you need somebody consistent.
Yeah.
There, which is also what you need to be as a production manager.
Boy, well, consistent but flexible and adaptable at the same time, right?
Right. Oh God, yes.
The only thing that's constant is change, right? Isn't that what they say?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you are not flexible, I guarantee I do not think you will be working for 41 years.
Yeah. And adaptable, adaptable, right? That's the other thing.
Kicking and screaming or nodding yes, definitely.
Yeah, things change so often. Like if you wanted to stay consistent or tied to something, it's like, yeah, you wouldn't survive even a year probably. There's just too much stuff that happens, and you have to be willing to. There's a saying that I heard in grad school, which is hold on tightly, let go loosely, and it's like hold on to your ideas, but be ready to let them go at any time. Fight for them, but be willing to change, because an example is making a schedule. You know, you might work a couple hours on the schedule and something comes in, or the artist is late, or they call you and everything changes, and you just have to be willing to roll that change and be like, okay, well, that's in the trash. Now we're going to start with a new plan. And
and what is most important? And that is the flow of the day.
Yep.
Not your paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Or not somebody else's inconvenience because the schedule was changed. But definitely, again, what is the reason we're all here? You know, you do not do this by yourself, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
You are one of many to produce a product.
Yeah.
It reminded me of it. You just reminded me of Tom Kelly, who wrote the textbook on the Backstage Guide to Stage Management. He said the stage manager imagined the iron hand in a velvet glove. I always thought that the visual of that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And
so true.
Yeah. What's next for you, Carolyn Satter, after retirement? What does retirement really mean to you?
Retirement has been being open for opportunity to begin with.
To work more, or to take projects, or meet friends, or go for coffee, or whatever.
What is out there? If it has to do with something in the entertainment world, I'd love it. You know, stage managing or that. I do stage manage throughout
Comic-Con. The Masquerade Ball at Comic-Con?
No.
Was that Paige? Wait a second.
No, neither of us are involved in Comic-Con anymore.
You were, though.
I was with Comic-Con, yes. No, there is an organization called Classics for Kids that educates elementary school kids about the classical world of orchestras and productions, and they do three different three different shows a year, and each show has, I think, at least 5 exposures. And part of it's been in the Balboa Theater, part of it's been in a Salvation Army. They have a theater space, and so we're there. I go in and stage manage it. That's totally pro bono. And so that is it. However, my love has shifted over to books and the library. So I serve as president of the Friends of the Library for the local library in my area, and then I'm now on the corporate board.
Wow.
And they run a bookstore, and they have decided that I am the expert, God forbid, for all books that are entertainment, plays.
Is the production manager's toolkit on the shelves, Carolyn Satter?
What?
Is the production manager's toolkit, brought to you by Routledge Press, available on the bookshelf?
I don't
think you can say, I wrote the foreword to this.
But they feel
open.
Anytime that there's expertise, I I was over there one time working and was sorting and purging a lot of sheet music. And they have considered now, if it's anything to do with music, if it's classifying CDs, if it goes to Carolyn.
Nice. Do you guys? Do you ever do like panels with experts kind of thing in the library? Nothing like that.
No, we don't. I may suggest programming for our local library, but City of San Diego is in a horrible economic situation, and their budget coming
Not
up
again.
All departments are being asked to cut 20%.
Oh wow!
So where the library
Kevin Faulkner. No, I don't know. I'm just kidding, people. Sorry.
Gloria is the one. Yeah, he is mayor.
Is he an overspending liberal Democrat?
Yeah, but,
no, it's the gay agenda.
So we are looking, as part of the Friends and helping out some of the other branches, looking at what that means. It means those of the Friends who are in who have got a decent, I would say, a checking account can help back support the librarian in paying for some of the performers in the programs. But yeah.
Do you do reading clubs? Do you sit in do they do like read a script kind of thing, or any like a gathering of community?
They do book club. I mean, they have book clubs in there and that. No, it's just be a matter of putting together.
Kensington, right?
And we have I am with the library that has the smallest foot space. They are building some libraries at 25,000 square feet. I think we are at 1,000. So we are very small. So we don't have a lot of space to do inside programming.
But anyway, you have a lovely grass yard.
We have a lovely space for outdoor events. Yeah. Next.
By the look on the clock, folks, I think we're getting close to wrapping it up here. Carolyn, we should just pull one out of our hat here. Brian, what is your favorite word of the day, Carolyn? If you had to pick a word of the day today, what would your word be today? Consistency. Very nice. Mm-hmm. And appropriate. And speaking of consistent, I have never seen somebody more consistent than Carolyn Satter through all of this shit that I go through, and I'm all over the place. And she's like, "Would you just chill, just ride it out?" She was always my voice of reason. Before 3:30 class, we would meet at 3:00. We would get coffee. I'd go into my office and I'd cry, and she would just say, "Are you ready to go to class? You ready? Put your big panties on there, mister." And I'm so grateful for her friendship, and will continue to always be so grateful to my friend Carolyn. And thank you for being a part of this.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us.
I'm glad to see you guys doing this.
It's fun.
It is amazing how many people who are in live entertainment do not realize the opportunity of being either a production or a stage manager.
That's right.
What that means, they may think of it, they could think of opera and Broadway shows and community theater. They do not think of rodeos. They do not think of rock and roll. These are not an immediate to mind. And there is so much opportunity in live entertainment to take your organizational skills, because that's what you need, and to put them to use.
Yeah.
Wedding planning
in live events,
right?
Yeah. I mean, the F1 race that they just did in Vegas, I know that's a high level, but a lot of people don't consider that whenever they're thinking about production management.
Right. No, it takes somebody.
The crossover. I mean, the transferable skills.
Yeah. We had the motorbikes out at the Qualcomm Stadium this last weekend. It's
Monster Jam.
Anything like there's needs somebody to coordinate the beginning and the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
As
true.
long as there's entertainment that needs to be paid for the masses, there will need to be management.
Right.
And if these damn arts programs would just open up a little bit to the rock and roll industry, do you know how many more opportunities there would be?
The best of luck to you too. Congratulations on the launch of this.
Thank you.
16 weeks ago, I mean, launch, right? I mean, at the time
Longer
went by
than
so
that.
fast.
October. We started back in October, actually.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Every week we talk.
Good.
Yeah.
We tell
Every
we
day.
tell some fun stories, don't we?
Yep.
Yeah, we
I
do.
thought of a story today that I wasn't allowed to tell.
Even the ones we don't record, you should hear some of those.
I know, right? Those make the best episodes.
I know.
Now I forgot what it was that I wasn't
Exclusive.
supposed to talk about. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Okay, my friends.
Okay. I'll see
Adieu,
you.
parting such sweet sorrow, and we shall see you all next time. Until then, peace.
Be healthy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.